happening, everybody? Boy Big Brando, and today we're talking about embroidery. Now, this is a conversation that I just had right now with one of my young homeboys, and it was about investing into an embroidery machine. And after we sat down, broke it down, it made a lot of sense to him, so I'm hoping it makes a lot of sense to you guys out there also. Now, a little backstory, my homeboy owns his own hat business. Currently, he outsources all of his embroidery work to another shop. Not to me, to another shop. But then he hit me up. He was like, man, I gotta find me a new shop because I want to increase my margins and I feel like I'm overpaying a little bit for the embroidery over here. They do good work, but I feel like I'm overpaying. So can you help me find another shop? And you got to remember, he's placing 2 or 3 orders a month with this shop. So I told him, I said, man, why don't you think about investing into your own machine, set it up in your garage, and you can start banging out your own orders on your own. That way you don't have to pay for somebody else's services and their labor and deal with somebody's minimums, and then you kind of control your own inventory as you go along. And his answer to me was, I can't afford that. And that used to be my mentality also. It's a lot of people's frame of mind when they think about embroidery machines. They let the price tag freak them out and they're like, oh man, I can't do that. I'm just going to keep outsourcing it. I can't afford to have that in my shop. I can't make those payments. I can't afford that machine. But then we started breaking things down on paper, and that's when it made a lot of sense to him, and it opened up the possibilities after the fact. So we're going to use my homeboy as an example right now, just to show you some basic numbers if you were in this same boat. Like, let's say that right now you outsource all of your embroidery right now. If you're brand new and you haven't even did any embroidery or outsourced it or haven't even offered it to your following yet, maybe this information shared in this video isn't right for you right now, but it could be used in the future for yourself. This information right here is for somebody that's already been doing hats or maybe looking into getting into hats, and you've already kind of been working with a few other shops and you want to increase your margins and keep a little bit more profit in your pocket and not have to give it to somebody else. So let's break it down. So he buys his blanks right now for $4 each. Currently, the shop that he's going through charges him $7 for embroidery. That's 3D puff stitching, 7 each. And then digitizing pays 30. That's a one-time fee. And the minimum is 36 pieces. Hopefully you can see that up there. So altogether he's paying about $426. We'll just say $425 for the sake of the video. For this one run right here, he's paying $425. And like I said, he does this 2 or 3 times out of the month. So we'll just use this as an example right here. Blanks cost $4. The actual stitching is costing him $7. Digitizing, one-time fee is $30. He's paying $425, $426, but we're gonna say $425. So this is what he pays. And in order to recoup that money right there, his retail, when he sells his hats, it's $25. He has to sell 20 to make $500. So $425 recoups his money. His profit is $75. After he sells 20 hats, he gets $75. Everything after that, the other 16 hats he sells is profit also. But just to recoup his money, he has to sell 20 to make $500. His profit, $75 after he repays. Once we broke these numbers down, it sounded crazy, right? He's just kind of like, damn. So when you finance a Ricoma machine, we'll just say it costs $200 a month. And that's the part that was scaring him, because he was like, man, I don't know if I can make $200 a month. So we'll say Ricoma machine is $200. Now this number right here is going to be based on the machine you get, based on your credit, based on what you qualify for, but 200 is an easy round number that we can kind of talk about. So if we use the same exact thing, he's paying $4 for blanks. Doesn't have to pay for stitching, doesn't have to pay for digitizing. There's no longer any minimums, but we'll just say that he's buying 36 hats at $4 a piece. Which comes out to 144 bucks. That's just for the blank hats. Since he's no longer paying for these services, we could X these out. And now this is just his cost right here, right? $200 a month for the machine, 144 bucks for 36 hats, blank hats. Now let's say he stitches those up on his own. Retail, 25 bucks, right? That's what he's selling them for. He sells 20 hats, exactly like he did over here. He makes $500, right? Off of the same 20 hats. We're doing the same math that we did on this side. We're doing it on this side now. His monthly out of pocket, $200 for the machine, $144 for the hats. To make math easier, we'll just say $150 for hats. I don't feel like doing math right now. So now his profit is 150 bucks. So he doubled his profit just by getting his own machine. You see what I mean? So instead of paying for digitizing and paying for his own 3D puff, he creates his own designs, gets his own machine, and now when he sells 20 hats, his profit is going to be 150 bucks. And obviously, if he's already selling 20 hats a month, he's already making enough money to pay for that $200. Because you got to figure, just on this alone, just on embroidery outsourcing alone, he was paying $7 times 36 was the minimum. That's 252 bucks that he's already paying just to outsource the embroidery. That $200 could be going to his machine instead of paying somebody else for it, right? So he's already doing this. He's paying this already currently, and he's doing this twice a month. So he's spending $500, $700 a month just on embroidery, when he could be spending that on the actual machine, recouping a little bit more money, making more profit, increasing his margins. And like I said, it costs $200 a month for the machine. He's already spending 250 bucks just to outsource it and have somebody else do it for him. So to say that you can't afford the $200 machine is crazy if you're already paying this for one run. This was my thought process when I was looking into embroidery, was how I was going to make the payments, how I was going to pay the machine off. And once I broke down easy numbers like this, it made a lot of sense to me, especially on how much outsourcing of embroidery I was doing. So when I reached out to Ricoma, that's all it was that casual conversation between us of basically how I was going to be making money using the machine. It wasn't about all the bells and whistles that the machine can do, because mainly I just do hats. And I knew if I sold X amount of hats to make the payment, it was an easy call. And then when I really broke it down and figured out that I was spending way more money on outsourcing, and now I'm keeping it all in-house, I'm making way more money by keeping all the embroidery work in-house. Unless a job is really big, 200, 300 pieces, or if we have a lot of 100-piece jobs stacked up in the shop, I could still outsource it and middleman that part. But it's way easier to keep all that work in-house and not have to pay somebody else 250 bucks to run 36 hats for me. Now somebody could pay me 250 bucks to run 36 hats. You see what I mean? Like I've been saying since I got this machine, or when I first started making videos about my Ricoma machine, that thing's basically paid itself off in full early, and I haven't even had it for a full year yet. And that's stitching hats for myself, like stuff like this. Oh, you probably can't even see this black on black. But hats like this for myself, and then I sell this for retail, $25. This blank hat right here is less than $4. Can you see the profit in that? This hat is less than $4 and I could retail it for $25. Easy call. So like I said, if you were on the fence about getting into embroidery or looking at machines, I highly recommend just reaching out to Ricoma and talking to them about the different machines they have, and then you ask all your questions that you have to them right then and there. And if it's not for you, it's not for you. especially if you don't have the space for it. But that thing is only taking up maybe a 3x3 space in my shop, and it's running right now and you can't even hear it. So hopefully this helps somebody out. I know it helped out my homeboy when we're talking it through. So I decided, man, maybe we should do this here just so I could bring it to you guys, and then hopefully it'll spark something to help somebody else out. I'll leave the Ricoma link in the description box if anybody wanted to reach out and even read up on the machines. You don't even got to talk to nobody, but if you wanted to do your own research on the machines, I highly advise you to do so. Do your own research, do your own homework. Like I always say in all my videos, I only talk about the stuff that I actually use in my shop. My Ricoma MT1501 is something that I use in my shop daily. 7 days a week that thing is running, and it's basically just printing money for us. All right, got any questions, leave it in the comments. Follow me on Instagram, Big Brando TV. Catch you guys on the next one, man. Yeah.